we don't like government. Get government out of our hair. So we've got to get rid of mandates. We've got to get rid of the regulations. Innovation, education, entrepreneurship is the future. I think that what's really important is we're working hard to run government like a business. We have to get rid of the bureaucracy, and we're shrinking it. We're doing a 10% decrease in spend this year in state government. Why is that a big deal? We have to be competitive. It's the people's money. We got to get the bureaucrats out of the way. And we talk every day that it's a privilege for me. I've been a blessed guy off the rocks. Being a public servant for Nebraska is an extraordinary privilege. Everybody that works in the state, if you don't view that as an extraordinary privilege to be a public servant, that probably means you're a bureaucrat and we don't want you on the team.
Americans are capable of achieving extraordinary things when they have the freedom and opportunity to do so. This is American Potential.
Welcome to the American Potential Podcast. I'm your host, David Fromm. So we're on the road right now in Montana at the Big Sky Bright Future Economic Summit, hosted by Governor Jim Pillen here in Montana. We're so excited talking about how to unleash energy abundance and really drive economic growth. One of the governors who's attending is Governor Jim Pillen from Nebraska, and we're so excited to welcome him here now and talk about all the great stuff that they're doing in Nebraska. Governor, welcome. I want to actually ask you about something before we get into the meat of this summit and to Nebraska. My understanding is that you are traveling around Nebraska trying to meet as many World War II veterans as possible. I think that's fascinating and so cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I have so many privileges, goosebump moments every day being the governor of Nebraska. It's extraordinary because it's the people. Our director of Veterans Affairs said, Jim, I have this idea. We talked about it almost 2 years ago. He said, 25 is the 80th anniversary of World War II, and we have 250 World War II veterans alive. He said, how about we go see as many as we can, give them a medallion and a certificate, and say thank you. And so our whole goal is to say thank you, and then to have events where families come out, communities come out, and to hear their story so nobody ever forgets what it takes for life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness that we have. Because as I say, the greatest generation, what happened 80 years ago, if we didn't win, it would have been a dramatically different world. And so incredibly grateful, incredibly emotional. My wife and I just did one in Lincoln 2 days ago, and a couple veterans sat there and wept. And Suzanne says, Jim, you need to come over. I mean, it's just extraordinary. It's an incredible gift. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do it. It's off the charts. Our veterans are the service that they provide and don't want to even talk about it. So we have to keep those stories alive. It's really important. It's really cool.
It just seems to me something not only in the moment is so meaningful and wonderful for everyone involved, but gosh, I think that, a decade from now, more Nebraskans are going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah. Really,
thanks for that leadership to think to do that.
Yeah. And we've done a couple of ladies that were Rosie Riveters, and they'd show me the calluses on their palms. A couple nurses. Just really been a privilege.
That's fabulous.
Really been awesome.
That's fabulous. So on to very equally important, but more policy related focus. So, we're here in Montana at the Big Sky Bright Future Economic Summit that Governor Jim Pillen and company are putting on, and you're on a panel talking about what you're going to do in your state to try to unleash economic activity or keep growing it.
Yeah.
We had talked to the governor a little earlier, and one of the things is the sun's come up again with the Trump administration, being the federal partner now that I think a lot of governors in states like yours would love to have. What do you see for your state as the future for economic growth and the keys to unleashing that?
Yeah. Well, I think first off, we are remiss in not saying thank God that Donald Trump is our president. As I've told him, I'm so incredibly grateful for his leadership, because his leadership gives me way more courage to stand up and speak about things that nobody would do. And I think that is really, really an important piece of it. When I talk about Nebraska, I think one of the things that I have said, I've told other governors, I think what's really important is we really need to zero in and do self-examination. Who the heck are we? Who are we in Nebraska? And I'm a word guy. Who we are in Nebraska, it's the people. We're an extraordinary people that have had to innovate because of getting 50 miles west of the river, really, really tough in the early days, and how we've changed. So we're about the people. We're about the water. We have the largest, most sustainable underground aquifer in the Western Hemisphere. We are about cattle. We're number one now in the United States. We feed more cattle than Texas. So we feed 6.5 million cattle. I could talk about being a kid in our hometown of Columbus, where there's generations of cattle ranchers from Montana ship their cattle to my hometown because we feed a lot of cattle in that part of the state. So cattle and then cattle processing, we actually import. We process 9.5 million cattle in Nebraska. So we're about food.
Yeah.
Right? So it's people, it's water, it's food. And then we started producing a lot of ethanol. We've had ethanol plants. First one was almost 40 years ago. Another one was built in my hometown 35 years ago. And then, we're 22 plants built since 06, 07, 08. So that then means we've become about fuel. And there's extraordinary opportunities, as I call it, the next generation of ethanol. We've just been able to make extraordinary progress. Politics have gotten in the way. I'm not a politician. We just focus on what's right. We work very, very hard with an organization called Tallgrass. They've made a line, natural gas line, and now we are sequestering carbon from our ethanol plants, which creates off the charts value for ethanol that's in demand around the world. I've been to Japan several times. I've met with the new ambassador in DC from Japan. That part of the world is very, very interested in the lowest carbon ethanol. We have it. And then making aviation fuel from the lowest carbon ethanol. So those are really, really big because of the ethanol and the carbon line, the partnership with Tallgrass. Our ethanol industry now will double in the state of Nebraska. And this is really breaking news. We've been working on it, and it is happening as lines are being dug to the laterals to hook it together. So that is really a big deal. And then why we're here, right? So it's the people, it's water, it's food, it's fuel, and it's the electricity.
Yeah.
So extraordinary opportunities and careers, rural economic revitalization. I can't brag enough about I've learned so much in my 3 years as being governor, and a guy that's become a good friend, he's extraordinary, is his name, 4-star General Tony Cotton. General Cotton spearheads Offutt Air Force Base. Again, we don't brag enough, so nobody realizes Offutt Air Force Base, Omaha, Nebraska, is the most powerful Air Force base in the world. It is the home to Nuclear Strategic Command.
Oh.
It is the home to global nuclear deterrence spearheaded by General Cotton and his team. We also have the 55th Wing, which flies about a dozen reconnaissance flights all over the world to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's another key piece of economic development, another key piece where we have to have more electricity. We have to have artificial intelligence so that our base is sustainable, the strongest to meet the demands. And I've learned a ton about foreign adversary. Holy cow. We've been duped, and I could go on for there. But those are, and then, we're incredible in insurance. In the insurance industry in Nebraska, there's $9 trillion in the insurance industry in the world, in the United States. We domicile $1.3 trillion of it
Wow.
in Nebraska, 15,000 really high skill, high paying, high demand jobs, careers. So that's gigantic. We have extraordinary large family-owned banking headed up by First National Bank of Omaha, which is diverse across the in many states, Pinnacle Bank and others. So our banking industry is incredibly strong, which allows us to have great partners. So we have the equity and capital to grow. So we've got a lot of really awesome things. I mean, we're home to 4 Fortune 500 companies, Kiewit to HDR. And we need to help those businesses grow by attracting people.
Well, I've watched, from afar some of the work that you've been doing to try to, really unleash economic growth. I mean, I was always a fan of Governor Ricketts too. Now Senator Ricketts, he's doing a great job in the U.S. Senate as well. But I think that there's with the Trump administration now, there's so much opportunity and so much, hopefully, opportunity to keep implementing great plans. But what do you see as an impediment or the biggest threats to like continued growth for Nebraska?
Again, I'd go off of we started our quote Doge program a month into being governor 3 years ago. I say we have to run. I come from business, farming. I'm the first governor in Nebraska from agriculture in 100 years. We don't like government. Get government out of our hair. So we've got to get rid of mandates. We've got to get rid of the regulations. Innovation, education, entrepreneurship is the future. I think that what's really important is we're working hard to run government like a business. We have to get rid of the bureaucracy, and we're shrinking it. We're doing a 10% decrease in spend this year in state government. Why is that a big deal? We have to be competitive. It's the people's money. We got to get the bureaucrats out of the way. And we talk every day that it's a privilege for me. I've been a blessed guy off the rocks. Being a public servant for Nebraska is an extraordinary privilege. Everybody that works in the state, if you don't view that as an extraordinary privilege to be a public servant, that probably means you're a bureaucrat and we don't want you on the team. And we're creating a great culture, run government like a business, improve services, and we can decrease spend. So that's the first fundamental piece. And then the other is simply we have to make things. The first half of government loves to do contracts and say yes to everything. We've got to change that. We've got to say no to everything. And then the other side of government that does the regulations and welcoming doctors and educators and nurses from other states, they want to say, and beauticians, they want to say no to have the control. That's backwards. They've got to say yes. And then we only need to be focused on what we're needed in. Mm-hmm. There's way too many parts of government in the state of Nebraska where, gosh, what are we doing that? So we've really been working hard in all of our agencies to make sure, as I say it, I got a lot to learn the business of state government. And every one of our agency heads, I say, look, we got to work our tails off every day to learn our business better so we can find every fat corner and get it out of here. And so we're really working hard at that. Why is that a big deal? Because that gets us competitive with tax policy. We're the third highest in property taxes in the country. We have to fix it. We have to lower our income tax because tax policy means a big difference for business and being business friendly.
Well, as our listeners know, I live in Illinois outside of Chicago. I am very familiar with high property taxes, and they're terrible. It's essentially a wealth tax on people because most Americans have all their wealth that's wrapped up in their property and their homes. So God bless. Yeah. as we wrap up, there's some unique things about Nebraska. I should say, everyone I know from Nebraska loves Nebraska. Like,
they love Nebraska.
I mean, Cornhusker football is like, going to church. I mean, it's just like such a big deal. One of my friends is like, couldn't be a bigger fan of Nebraska women's volleyball, him and his daughters all the time. And I think it's a testament to the state that people love living in Nebraska. Why do you love Nebraska? Obviously, as governor, it's a big deal.
I'm guilty, as I say. I love Nebraska. I love the people. Everything that has happened to me is because of my family and the people of Nebraska. I got an education from the university. I got to play football for Coach Osborne.
Really?
He taught us to be givers. My dad taught us to be givers, but that you can make a difference. Nebraska is an extraordinary place, and it's all because it's the people. And so I love it simply because we do it the right way. And give an example. If I can brag about our athletics.
Please.
We have been sold out. Memorial Stadium, 85,000 people have been sold out since 1962 every game.
Nice.
Nebraska, and for the last 20 years, we've not been very good.
That's true.
So that just gives you a little bit. And think about our volleyball program. We have been in the top for 20, 30 years. Every little girl growing up wants to be a volleyball. What's so awesome about those things is it brings us together in, as we say, all kinds of weather. But here's what's incredible that nobody knows. Our athletic department is in one of the best financial shapes of any in the United States of America. Every woman, every female athlete at the end of this year will be on scholarship.
Oh, wow.
Every female athlete will be on full scholarship. There's no other program in the country that can say that. We will exceed any goal of original Title IX 52 years ago. Those are things that are really big. We have young ladies that I have met that have transferred from other schools. They said, we can't believe it here. We are treated exactly the same as the star quarterback. I call that the Nebraska way.
That's fabulous. That really is. As the father of a female college athlete, I can really appreciate that. Well, Governor, I'm excited about the work that you're doing in Nebraska.
Thank you.
It's a great state, but making it greater and greater. That's what I said.
My favorite saying is, together we can. We have just a great team of people. We have incredible support across the state, and we have Nebraska. We're doing a project. We call it 6 regions, 1 Nebraska. Nebraska is 500 miles long, almost 300 miles wide. We have 6 extraordinary community colleges. And so each of those are different regions of the state. And we're bringing people together. I've been at meetings this past week where they're working hard to find the opportunities to bring communities and solve problems, create opportunities to, whether it's workforce housing, whether it's child care, coming together. How do we solve that? How do we grow our communities? How do we have incredible communities? How do we have great health care? And so it's so awesome because we don't need government. We need business leaders, farmers and ranchers, community leaders to come together and make things happen. I'm really proud of the work Nebraskans are doing.
Well, that sounds fabulous. I'm excited to see the results.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you joining us here up in Montana and for this conference. I hope your panel's great later today, and I appreciate your leadership.
Hey, thank you for having me on, David. Great to meet you.
Thank you.
You need to get your way out of Illinois more often. I'll give you that.
I know, I do. We're not hosting these conferences in Illinois. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
If you like this episode, please subscribe to our channel and like us online at Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And remember, liberty and freedom are easily taken for granted. Don't take it for granted. Go out there and defend freedom and liberty. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to American Potential. You may listen to more stories from Americans working every day to expand freedom and opportunity in their communities by visiting AmericanPotential.com.